Diet, or indeed dieting, as in the process of actively trying to either reduce your weight to get to a healthy level or to maintain a healthy, active lifestyle that doesn't endanger your health. It's obviously a very serious topic, and it's an issue that many struggle with, and I myself at certain times in my life have struggled with, although admittedly you may not notice it as much due to the fact I have a long, tall frame, means that in theory I can carry weight a little bit easier and it won't look quite as bad when I'm at my peaks. But there's certainly been times where I was over the kind of weight I probably should be, or a weight that felt right to me. And yet, despite it being such a serious topic, it's actually dealt with pretty frivolously in our culture. Like, people are just sold like fairly idiotic fad diets, or the notion that you can just drop weight and then go back to what you were doing before, and then that's fine, and then just keep doing that cycle over and over again, and that's in any way healthy. People also generally, even when it's loved ones that they have in their family, it's a very awkward topic to bring up. You don't really want to tell someone that they're killing themselves by food, that they're essentially an addict to a type of drug that's having an effect in their bloodstream, on their body, on their mind, their reward system. We don't really want to have these discussions. And so there's actually not that much great info widely spread throughout the mainstream, I would say. Generally, we've seen a change over the last few years of people starting to do articles about the keto diet, the paleo diet, etc. But a lot of the information out there is the fluff, the garbage that's in Marie Claire and women's magazines that absolutely toys with, and often is just selling products to women. And a lot of the things that actually I've found useful in my own life never really were outlined in any obvious place. I had to go and search for them myself, and then through trial and error test what worked. So what I would say is this. First of all, as a general note, generally the basis that you're going to use to do any successful diet, in my opinion, is quite simply CI/CO. Calories in, calories out. Check how many calories you put into your body each day. Check how many calories are going out in terms of being burned. You can find this online. There are many different things where you put in your height, your weight, your age, and it'll tell you roughly how many calories you should consume a day just to stay at whatever normal weight you would be a maintenance weight. Eat slightly less, 100, 200, ideally maybe 300, 400 less than that, so you've got some wiggle room in case you fudge the numbers a bit, and you are going to lose weight. Now then, with that said, when we say that approach, calories in, calories out, it's not just about calories. Like, let's be real. Eating a reasonable amount of calories, but of terrible foods that are all sugary and crap and don't have any nutrients in, yeah, that's not in any way equivalent to eating the same amount of calories of healthy food. So in that sense, you could actually not be losing weight, but eating healthy food, and it probably wouldn't be as bad for you as if you were slightly losing a bit of weight, but eating pure shit. I mean, what's your body going to make all the different parts it needs for itself and to maintain your general level of health? Also, there is the factor that all foods are not equal, just in as much as some foods make it easier to lose weight. They make it easier to maintain the lifestyle, to not make bad decisions, to not put your body later on in the day, later on in time, in a position where it's easier to make those bad decisions. So all foods aren't equal in that kind of sense. And so, yes, if you want to succeed at dieting, sure, some people might have not done this. Some people might have just lived their life in a different manner and succeeded anyway. But if you want to ensure you succeed, you must count the calories that you consume each day and know what your amount is, that is your maintenance amount, and stay under it with regularity. And you will absolutely lose weight unless you have some extremely special medical condition. And I can tell you from the majority of people I have known who claimed to have those, they did not. And these were excuses for things like not counting calories, not knowing how many calories were in certain foods, thinking fruits are just healthy and therefore you can eat as many as you want, thinking that they have a fast metabolism when actually they just eat way too much, never exercise, and have ridiculous lifestyles. There are very, very, very rare examples of people who really do have these metabolism issues and therefore are overweight due to that and not due to their diet. So first and foremost, you're going to say, well, it's a hassle. Like, I don't know how many calories are at. Well, first and foremost, one of the ways I always got over that is whenever I started out a diet, I would find things that I absolutely can measure. You can find simple guesstimates for everything online for how much a certain weight of chicken breast is worth. So I would start with that. And I would have TV dinners that had the exact amount of calories written on them. And by doing this, I could start out from a good place where I knew how many calories. Then over time, as I cooked things for myself, as I got foods where they didn't have the calories written on them, I would then start to estimate. And guess what? If I found there were days I was over, I'd start to look online for other second opinions on this amount. I'd try to figure out, oh, maybe I've overshot it here. Maybe I put a little bit too little amount of too few calories for that thing. And so I would up it up a little bit until I get the balance right and I'm losing weight again. So you might think to yourself, it's too much work to do that. No, that is the basis. That is the fundamental first one foot in front of the other of losing weight, because it's going to be the process by which you then improve what the things you're eating. First of all, you have to know what you're eating and exactly how much and what the effect is. Then you're going to improve the things you're eating and improve the overall diet and the amount. And that's what's going to ensure you succeed, the purely mathematical formulaic element. And I can say, after you get used to having a little notepad and writing the amount next to each other, first of all, a lot of those will be used in future days. You know, oh, now I know how much that bowl of cereal with that much milk in. Now you could just keep using that day after day. Secondly, it just becomes a habit. It becomes very easy. A secret to succeeding in any area in life is to find negative habits and find ways that short circuit them. I didn't say just quit those negative habits. That's incredibly hard. But to short circuit different parts of the habit, so only part of it happens or part of it is cut off. And more importantly, that to build up good habits, so they're not going to be things you do initially, and they're going to be hard to do initially, but after you've done them a while at certain times each day, it'll become second nature. It'll become the robot element of your body, as Colin Wilson would say, will take over and do these things for you, and it'll become very easy. In fact, it'll be easier to do them than to not do them, because you'll feel a kind of compulsion because you'll have the reward circuit set up. Now, first and foremost, I would say, before I recommend any type of diet, this should be a diet that is a lifestyle, not a fad. You're not doing this just to lose X amount of weight. Losing X amount of weight is a byproduct of applying this as a healthy lifestyle that you are going to maintain going forwards from here on out. For the foreseeable future, you are going to be doing one of these diets, and therefore you will get to where you want to succeed. And then at that point in time, you can just maintain, and you will ensure you don't put back on again. It's not about you can quit and then do it anytime. No, how about don't put it back on again? How about have a healthy lifestyle? So first of all, commit to doing this for a long time. Don't think I'm going to do it for X amount of time or until I've lost Y amount of weight. No, you're just going to do this. This is your life from now. And you even think to yourself, this is something I learned from Robert Anton Wilson. You change and from Chaos Magic, interestingly enough, when you're making sigils. You change the way you think. You don't think, I am going to do this, or I would like to do this, or it's my desire to do this. What you do is you start saying, I am this type of person. Oh, I'm the type of person who does this type of diet. Oh, a piece of cake. I mainly don't eat carbohydrate. I used to be someone who loved candy and sweets. Yeah. I'm just not someone who eats them very often now. You make that your mentality. This is the way you talk to yourself and you think inside your own mind, and it will change over time. So that becomes your reality. That is the way you think. And therefore, when you're in these positions and you don't feel a massive craving, you overcome it. You go, yeah, well, I'm not the sort of person who does it. I could do that on my cheat day in a week and a half. It's not something that I have to do because I'm not the type of person who eats that sort of stuff. And in general, this is how you're going to build up your mental state piece by piece, brick by brick, till it gets to become strong. Hence, why I also always built in some days where you do have other things that aren't as part of your diet. Because first of all, they make it manageable. It means at some point in time, you will have days where you have those things. In fact, you can have literally any type of food you want, the worst type that you can imagine, the most ridiculous sugary, candy or savory, anything you want, as long as you only do it a few times a month. As long as you do it, say, once a week in terms of overall the things you don't eat every day. You can do it once a week, as long as you keep the other days fine. So who can't just chill out for 6 days and then have something once a week and go, hey, at least every week I can have exactly the thing that I think I want in that sense. Eventually, you will get this sense that success, this is the thought I used to have running through my brain and always have when I get success in diet. I think to myself, by not doing this, I'm continuing my success. I'm maintaining my streak. And what I would think to myself is success feels right now actually better than this food would taste. And you might not believe that right now where you are, but I can just tell you, it sounds like you've been brainwashed, but you are positively brainwashing yourself. And eventually the feeling of success, the delayed gratification of that element of reward, that becomes, each time you turn down these things, becomes a success. You want to maintain this as a building block of your self-esteem. Because once you start to figure out how to lose and you start to see how you build up your willpower to turn over, willpower is not something that people are just born with. I don't know where this notion has come from. This guy can just do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'd fall apart. Yeah, he's built it up. It's like being a bodybuilder. You start with the small weights, you keep going, you healthily build yourself up. You don't go too much and break yourself. And over time, you're gradually able to do more and more and more. It's the same with anything. Same with memory, same with language skills, the same with willpower. Your willpower builds up all the time. We all start with nothing, especially when we're giving in all the time. But as you gradually say no, know. And as you gradually start to guide yourself in a better direction, your willpower builds up. And then you get more self-esteem. Hey, I can do this. And you know what? If you can do something like dieting, you can do literally anything in life. To a degree. Yes, that doesn't mean you can do some far-fetched accomplishment like become the president. No, but you know what? You could probably get into politics. You could probably run a campaign. You could probably be some low-level politician, or you could work for a politician. You could do something in your life to enhance it in any area pretty much if you can take this approach, because it's a piece-by-piece, day-by-day approach, which literally just puts you on a track where you're heading somewhere where you want to be headed and not somewhere that you don't want to head, and just hoping that you don't go towards that. So, first and foremost, it might sound extreme, but a method I would actually recommend, especially to people who are very overweight, is to try a ketogenic diet, the Keto Diet. Go on r/keto on subreddit, on Reddit. Listen, I won't claim to know all the science behind it. I do think some of the science behind it, I mean, I'm not somebody who knows how to interpret a lot of scientific papers, but the articles and papers I read, some of it sounded plausible, especially because I've had some of the physical effects. Some of it sounded like there was a little bit of fuckery going on, but all that matters is this. So the idea that eating fat is what makes you fat, quite clearly to me at least, seems to be bullshit. And if you look at the history of it, seems to have been pushed as an agenda and programmed into society by people involved in the grain and agriculture business. Basically the people where they want you to, don't eat fat, you should eat healthy grains and that. Oh, I wonder why that could be. It's the same way as people who were behind smoking and drinking were the people who wanted cannabis made illegal and seek to shut down lots of natural remedies and cures. It's the same sort of fuckery going on. Now, the logic goes that normally your brain initially burns off any fat or sugar, essentially changes it into glucose, it goes to your brain, and this powers your brain. Okay, but the key thing is when you cut off this glucose, you're going to have a small amount of it, still a very small amount, maybe 10% in your diet through carbs. You're still going to get your brain powered because it's going to be powered by something called ketones, which are produced by your liver when you eat a lot of fat. So they do make your body feel different. At least they made mine feel different. When I had ketones running through my body, I would have a different kind of energy. First of all, my brain just felt very clean. Secondly, I had a kind of energy which was slow release, which lasted hours and hours, which wasn't the hard spike of glucose and then the low that comes half an hour to an hour later. It was this slow, gradual build-up and then maintain plateau for a long time, then gradually taper off. And as it's gradually tapering off, I can think, am I hungry? Has enough time passed now? Is it time for my next meal? So being on a keto diet and eating 60% or whatever it is fat, yes, it absolutely was very, very helpful for staving off hunger. First of all, because of the energy release, but more so than that, fat is the thing that, for me at least, and for a lot of people, satiates hunger like nothing else. It's why if you've ever felt super hungry and you order a ridiculously fatty meal, sometimes you eat it and you go, I'm actually kind of full, but there's loads left. I thought I was so hungry. Why can't I eat more? If there's mayonnaises are too rich and there's all sorts of fries and everything, you know what? If this was like a less fatty meal, actually, you'd eat way more of it. Like Korean barbecue, I can go fucking ham on that shit. I can eat like 4 plates of that. I find it hard to eat a whole burger and fries and onion rings. And that. Part of it's because, I mean, in this case, there's a lot of carbs there, by the way, but fat actually is fantastic for staving off hunger. So when you're only eating fat or primarily fat, it's really going to get rid of your hunger. So when you have it spaced out throughout a day, you're not going to feel the same craving to have the sugary things because you're not going to feel hungry on the base level. You might out of boredom want them, but you won't feel it that way. Also, by cutting out the carbs and the sugary things, cravings do go away. Eventually, they become just mental. Like you think in your brain, oh, I see that, oh, but I'm not allowed that, oh, but I'd like that, oh, but remember what that used to taste like. But because it becomes mental, it's not a physical response anymore, so you don't feel like you must do it for your body, you can now use what I call the delay technique, which is why I said before to always build in cheat days, or I just call them days when I eat other than my diet, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm cheating, oh my God, I've broken. No, I'm actually planning to do this. It's a pressure release. And what I do is I don't use the day itself to help me. I use the fact it exists to help me. So when I did the keto diet, I would have 1 day a week where I would cheat. And even then I wouldn't cheat the whole day and go super ham, but I would just have some things that I wouldn't otherwise. So what I would do is I would think to myself, anytime I saw something I wanted in a shop or I thought about something, I'd say, you know what? I could have it now. I could stop right now. I could make today my cheat day. But you know what? I've planned to have my cheat day, say, be Saturday. And you know what? I can wait 2 to 3 days until Saturday and just have it then. And first of all, sometimes by doing that, I just put it off and I don't ever have it. Sometimes I put it off and then when I want a cheat day, I have it that day. So it's actually a very good way to make it so that you rationally explain to your brain a way to put it off, but still feel like you're not denying yourself. I'm not denying myself. I'll have it on Saturday. I'm just not going to have it on Wednesday. So having cheat days helps you enable that mechanism, and thus, I think, maintain the approach. It will also, by the way, once you get really into the keto diet, show you how fucking overrated carbs are, because actually you'll feel quite sick when you eat them on that day. You won't feel great because your brain's not addicted to sugar in the same way. You're not getting the same sort of mad rush off it, and it won't feel very good. Now, admittedly, you would feel differently if you're addicted to carbs because you get the withdrawal, satiated. You'd probably eat a lot of them on that point in time, but that's the point. You've changed the way your brain operates. Now, how to stay on this diet? Listen, there are tons of recipes out there. That's why you go to like r/keto, you go to keto recipes. There are lots of recipes to try. But I would say first and foremost, start with some simple foods that you can easily make and repeat often and not get bored of. So one of my favorites, bacon and eggs. I would have that for breakfast every day. And I had it down so that maybe accounted for like 500 calories, which if you have 3 meals of 500 calories, you got to 1,500 there, and you're drinking water, boom, you're well under your maintenance, which for me was about 2,000, 2,100. I'm well under that. And that's if I choose not to have different things for other meals there. So I start with that. A good one for a dinner, pork chop with some vegetable. So you can have broccoli, you can have cauliflower. Now, another thing I would say is don't wait until you are super hungry to eat. Have some stuff that's pre-prepared. Have some like bacon that you've cooked already and put in the fridge. Have whatever it might be, some other type of meat that you can eat cold, some sort of ham or some sort of salami. Also, if you want to have something that'll get you by when you need like a treat or something a little bit sweet, or you want something to quickly tide you over for a few hours till your main meal, try making something called fat bombs, where basically they're nearly all fat. There's lots of recipes out there for them. And the fact is, right, even though you're going to use like cocoa and really dark chocolate type stuff in this, you're going to think, well, that tastes like shit, because if you love sweet stuff, that's not great, right? But here's the beauty of it. Once you aren't addicted to sugar, you don't have it massively in your brain chemistry. First of all, you don't need as much to get a response at something sweet. And therefore, things like dark chocolate actually start to taste sweet. In fact, they start to taste nice. They taste pretty good, actually. So that's a really good way to both get your fat, stave off some hunger, and kind of get something that feels sweet to you. You really want to just drink water when you're on diet. If you're going to have something else, make it a diet or a sugar-free. But in general, you want to primarily just drink water. First of all, it staves off fake hunger, where your body's just telling you, oh, I want to eat now, but you don't know it's actually thirst. A lot of people don't drink enough water, so they don't know what real thirst is. Secondly, it makes you feel really good when you have a lot of water. You feel like your brain really running well. It feels like you've got petrol in the car, and now you're not just running on fumes anymore. And I would say generally, if you're someone who isn't feeling thirsty during the day, I think you probably are eating a really shitty diet, because you're just not noticing that you're incredibly thirsty. If for some reason on the keto diet you get cramps or you get some sort of toilet issues, either lack of regularity or too regular, first and foremost, make sure you've got enough magnesium, enough potassium, and enough fiber in your diet. Fiber to move along the dietary issues and not have any problems there. Magnesium and potassium, you can take vitamins, but it's going to be hard to get all those in your body. Ideally, you want to just have some vegetables that have them in, or try doing one of these broths that doesn't have much calories, but has got a high amount of that in. It'll take care of any kind of cramps you get. As a rule, stay away from fruit. Like, you can have berries of some type if you know the calories of them, and you're going to make those all your carbs for a day, like 8 grams of carbs, and have like some spray cream with it that's sugar-free. Okay, that's not necessarily terrible. Remember, you can have things like double cream, and that's not going to be a problem. That's not going to have, it's mainly all fat. But you just got to balance the calories out. Fruit is basically nature's candy. Fuck anyone who told you that shit's really healthy. Yes, it can get vitamins and nutrients into you, but you can also get those elsewhere, and it's not some amazing superfood that by having it makes it that doesn't like make you gain weight. It's having a big bowl of grapes is basically like eating a load of candy. Now, here's this funny thing. Keto is a very hardcore way to do it. It's a real lifestyle change, but I've found my own way to consistently and gradually lose weight without actually not eating some of the meals I want. And what I've done instead, I've got a hybrid version where basically, first and foremost, I cut out all sugar sodas. I don't drink any energy drinks or sodas that have full sugar in them. I only drink sugar-free, and even then, I try to make it so that for every sugar-free drink, I'm having 2 glasses of water. And that doesn't mean I then die of having too much water. I'm trying to make it so I only have 1 or 2 sugar-free things a day. I'm having water primarily for what I drink, because that way, I've already cut out the calories that I drank. Like, let's say I was adding 300, 400 calories just from sodas. That's now gone from my diet. I haven't even had to exercise yet. I've chopped that off my diet already. I drink water primarily. As I said, if you're not feeling thirsty in the day, you probably have a fucked up diet, so your brain's not telling you correctly that you're thirsty. Once you cut out the sweets, etc., and you have your normal meals, you'll start to notice you are thirsty quite a lot. Then you're going to drink, and it's going to put off some of the fake hunger. Then, personally, for an energy drink, I actually stopped having all sugar-free energy drinks. What I do primarily is I drink G Fuel, as explained in like a separate video, where It's sugar-free, only has 25 calories a go. I only need one of them most days in terms of the long energy. It actually reminds me of ketone energy in that sense. And it's like it has a way less speedy drop-off. If I really need to get a lot of work done in a day, I might have two. But even then, not if there's only a couple of hours before I'm going to go to sleep. And generally, only when I'm really going ham on work. I won't ever waste that on just something else because I want to try not to have too much in that sense. It's also great in that it's portable because it's a powder, so you can get a little bag of it, you can put it in a little container, you just put it into water. You don't even have to have the shaker cup. Put it into a bottle of water, drink like that much water, put it in, shake it up a bit, and then drink it. There you go. It's very portable, so there's no excuse that, I didn't have any when I was out. Buy it in the big tubs and you can go and take as much as you want. I have no desserts and no candy. Now, again, people are going to say, yeah, but I couldn't do that because I love candies and sweets, right? I've never met anyone who liked candy and sweets and sodas more than I did. Out of my own choice, I'd drink them all the time. I would only drink soda, I wouldn't drink water. I ate candy, loads of it. I would eat bags and bags of it. I would prefer even giving up some of a meal to have candy. I love that shit. But I can tell you that it made it incredibly hard to do any kind of diet because I would be so tempted. And if I satiated it a little bit, that whole moderation is key, right? It doesn't work for people who really love the shit. A little bit is then the doorway to a bit more, is then the doorway to, fuck, I've done a lot now, I'm starting to make mistakes, I've done too much, I've done it all now, haven't I? We know that's with drug addicts. It's the same with people who love candy. People just don't realise food is an addiction in the same sense. Now, as I said, I just cut out desserts, I cut out candy. Now, the way I balanced it in my diet in this sense is, first of all, by cutting them out, over time, the cravings go away. Once you're totally cut off, you don't have the same craving as having a little bit, which makes you say, I need to have some more, I need a few more of those. For me, moderation just doesn't work. But more importantly, the reason I got this to work is I said, I'm going to cut out the candies and stuff, the things I think I really want and crave, for the things that I don't even really want that much, but will seem like a reward. Like I can have any evening meal I want. And so I designed a system, which I'll get into in a minute, where basically I built up to a big meal of anything I want at the end of the day. So first and foremost, I only have in my diet full meals and a breakfast, which is either cereal or some type of fruit. So what I did is I always set my schedule up to succeed, but so I feel like it has a reward element in it where I'm actually benefiting from the system. So what I did is I would make it so my breakfast is always something like it's cereal with milk, 200, 250 calories, or it's berries with milk or some sort of cream, again, 200, 300 calories. That's my breakfast. Now, a few hours later, for lunch, I'm going to have something like, again, TV dinner, that's 400 calories. Something simple to make and cook, bean sprouts and some pork or something. Again, 400, 500 calories. I'm only up to 800 calories or so at this point in the day. I'm having my water, I'm having my G Fuel. I've gone through half the day at this point in time, a couple of hours after my lunch. I've got all my work done. Now for my evening meal, I'm going to feel pretty hungry, right? I want a big meal now. Now I can have anything I want. As long as it's only savoury, I don't have anything sweet involved there. It's a burger and fries, or it's ribs, or it's an Indian meal, whatever it might be. That big meal is going to set me up to finish me off for the whole day. And the key thing is, first of all, I've gotten a meal I always want each day if I really want to go ham. But secondly, I'm setting myself up to succeed. I'm setting myself up so when I splurge, it's at the end of the day, once I've already succeeded for the rest of the day. I spend my calories late in the day. You fail when you spend them early and think, no, I'm definitely going to keep to it. I'll have a bit something now, but that's okay. I'll have something small later. At the end of the day, you're super hungry. You can't have very much. You can't figure out a good meal. That's when you splurge. That's when you go overboard. That's when you fuck up the diet. Instead, set yourself up to succeed. Get what you'd want done early in the day, and then the end of the day can be play. It's the same with games. If I ever start playing fun online games with people at 2 p.m., I'm not going to get much work done at the end of the day. I'm not going to be as motivated to. If I say, I can't play with you guys till 8, and then I spend those hours doing my work, then I get all my work done. I'm totally free, and then I can play and have as much fun as I want. And again, it's not moderation. People say that as a cliche, a truism. Moderation in all things. I don't know people where it works for them. If there are people who can just eat one cookie and not have any more, fucking good on you. But it's not me and people I know and people in my life, put it that way. So I think it's a load of bullshit, the whole moderation idea. I say do the things you think are reasonable to do. Don't do the things that are unreasonable. Moderately do the things you think are good, and just moderately do the things that are bad for you. No, that wouldn't make any sense whatsoever, would it? So one last thing I want to bring up is, notice I have at no point in time listed exercise. You don't need it. You do any of those diets I've just explained and follow them like I've described here, and keep your calories under the maintenance amount, and it's ideally 200 or 300 under, and you stick to that religiously, you will lose weight. Now, if you exercise, First of all, you don't even have to be as strict on those other diets. But if you do those diets the same way and exercise, you'll lose weight even faster, more in a more healthy manner. You'll also build up, obviously, the health of your body. And as such, obviously, you don't have to do it, but it's good to do it. And that's also going to help your life. So I would say to add in some, like, first of all, never use the excuse that you can't go to the gym or you're too tired to go. No, you can do a lot of basic workouts just on the spot in front of your computer where you are right now. So put on a documentary, put on an inspirational video. I like to watch like Kobe Bryant videos or Jordan Peterson talks. Start doing some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups. Don't do too many the first day. Do like 5, do 10 of each. And then the next day, do 5 and 10 of each again. And then 3 days later, go up to 12 of each. And then 4 days after that, go up to 15 of each and see how you're going. And never just go too crazy, but gradually build it up. You know what? How about run on the spot? Do sprints and then do long runs like you're going on a marathon. Get an exercise bike if you want. There you can sit and watch a fucking documentary the whole time while exercising, while doing all the other shit. You can surf Twitter while exercising. Walk a lot. Just go for walks. Find a little route that you can go on. You take the same route each time, so your brain kind of zones out. You go into a trance-like state. You listen to podcasts, interesting ones. Jordan Peterson one, Joe Rogan Experience, Duncan Trussell Family Hour if you're a bit of a freak. Start listening to music. Listen to concept albums, whole albums that all work together. Tool, Lateralis, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, whatever it might be. Boards of Canada, A Campfire Headface. Listen to something where the whole album works together so you get lost in the music and you don't notice you're changing tracks and you're thinking about other things. It'll give you a lot of time to think about things. Be walking, you'll be healthy, you'll be getting air into yourself. You come back, you have some water, you've done something in your day. Try doing yoga if you're interested in that. If you're one of these people out there who enjoys drugs, you enjoy hallucinogenics, you know what? If you get to advanced states in yoga, you can trigger states within your brain endogenously without any drug from external sources that can be incredible, beautiful, magnificent, hallucinogenic experiences. You just have to put in the time and the effort and the work, and you will find not only will it enhance your life, in my opinion, but you can get to some pretty crazy spaces that they don't tend to tell you outside of the mysticism of the Hindus and whatnot and Buddhists, which tends to sound like some bullshit because they'll always go too far and tell you you're going to start levitating everywhere and you can telepathically know everything around the world. Now, whether you can or cannot, you're going to have to get pretty far into it to get to that level, so you don't have to worry about that right now. Finally, I'd say dance to your favorite album. Put on a good album that you like that's dance music, ideally. Just dance around for the whole album. So 40 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it might be. Personally, that's one of the things I love drum and bass mixes for, because they just feed one track into the next. There's no real break. And so you can just go off on that. And it's really fun, actually. But you're losing weight, you're getting moving, etc. So again, I'm not preaching. I'm not telling everyone they have to do these diets or this is the only way. But these are things that I've tried. They have consistently worked for me. And I figured out a blueprint, a formula for how I am able to use these things to lose weight consistently, but crucially to make it a lifestyle, make it a way to live my life and not just some fad or something where I don't really understand how it's working.